I know you feel like you want me, and I guess in a way you do. Holding my breath, unraveling emotions. I need some space to think this through. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you, I would rather lie to you. I promise, now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you, I would rather lie to you. Look away so you won't see, cause the pain is in my eyes. Feels like I could break at any moment and shatter your insides. If you feel my mind, call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you, I would rather lie to you. I promise, now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you, I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie, I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight, I would rather lie to you. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you, I would rather lie to you. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you.
Hello and welcome everyone to the end of what has been another fantastic week of Formula 1 racing here on SLR. And of course, as always, we end this week with the Tier 1 boys. And it's a classic track today. It's Belgium, Spa. And so far, all the races this season have thrown up lots of drama and excitement, and we expect nothing less than that today, as we have quite a lot of Finnish drivers today in Tier 1, but we'll get into that shortly. Of course, as always, covering the action is myself, Tipsy Bob, and the wonderful Ocean Chief. How are you, man?
Hello, glad to be here once again, yeah. So looking at the standings before we get to the race session itself, we've got Danny Coe leading the Drivers' Championship for the first time, 70 points. Tenari is still there, 3 points behind, with 67 points. Meepo still there, P3, hanging in there as well. But looking at constructors, McLarens are becoming a force to be reckoned with. They have quite a haul of points in P1, Ferrari P2, and then Williams P3. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Classic track. Always look forward to racing this one and also commentating on it. Love it. It's yeah, it ranks up there highly for me. Bob, I'm not sure about yourself.
Yeah, I'm quite fond of Spa. I've had many races here. Quite often you do get the odd safety car thrown into the mix. And given the nature of Spa and its location up the mountains of Belgium, rain is known to fall quite frequently here. As if you remember a few seasons ago in the real Formula 1, it was a washout in quali, if you can remember that, whenever Russell was driving for the Williams. That was quite a while ago. So yes, one other thing I really want to touch on there, Chief, was you were talking about the constructors. I mean, it is something that we kind of were expecting, given the nature of the teammates. They are kind of running away with it, but the driver's title so far is being pretty competitive. And anyone looking down the grid will notice that there is a vacant McLaren. It is, of course, Dan the Man, Danny. He will be joining us. Hopefully for quali. He is having just a few issues at the moment with his computer, Chief. So looking forward to getting him on track shortly.
Yep, plenty of drivers on the grid today, which is great for us. A lot of reserve drivers as well. Maybe we could have a wee chat about those. Juho, first time in the SLR. First time me seeing him in SLR. Although I heard that he went by another name previously in SLR. He had left the server, Koge or Koog. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation, but yeah, another Finnish guy there. Although he is flying a Japanese flag today for some reason. Who else we got? Otso, another Finn. V Martiskin.
Martiskin? Yeah,
you gotta put that Finnish accent on there, don't you?
Yes. If you want to get into the Finnish accent, you have to ask, like, are you making tea or something? Like, get that good tea out there. Like, get that good tea out there, V Martiskin. No,
yeah.
That doesn't work.
I think we're slowly becoming Finnish. You know, we were saying before the stream, we should rename the league SLOR, because a lot of these drivers do race in the Finnish Racing League of LOR. So shout out to that league. We are very good friends with those guys, and love to share the track with those guys as well.
But yeah, getting into we're waiting for them to really get into the crux of quali, as everyone's doing their laps or getting ready to warm up for the laps. I think Justin will definitely be hoping for a good race for today. He has obviously been having good races, but just things keep happening to him in the race. Not really self-inflicted. He just gets, I wouldn't say caught up in things, but just things seem to be happening to him that he is very unlucky. This season it seems to be, and he'll be hoping for a clean run. See, Skanakas is about to start his lap. But yeah, man, I don't know about you, Chief, but if it looks the same for you, but this sky and just the kind of general vibe of this weather condition looks like that we could be getting a bit of the wet stuff anytime shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just following Justin, and you can see from his POV just how grey those clouds ahead look. So yeah, getting out early is probably the best thing. Although Justin is on these mediums. I see Tino as well in the background there is on wets. Maybe that's an indication. Oh, and Justin has invalidated his lap. So hopefully it doesn't rain later in the session, or his quali will be compromised.
Yeah, I did also pick up there as well that Tino is just starting his lap on wets. I have seen people do this before. I've seen Justin doing it as well. So whether it is some sort of tactic, I don't know. But we know Tino doesn't necessarily take it too seriously. So maybe it'll be that way. I guess we will see shortly. But it looks like someone behind him is getting a mega slipstream. Who is that?
That's Eagle Goes, yeah. Looks like he's going to go for the move as well. So Tino gets out of the way, rightly so. But that might have compromised Eagle Goes run into this set of corners. I'm not sure of their name, but it's at the end of the Camel Straight. And Iceland has joined. Excellent. You might have a
that's good to see. Well, yeah, Chief, we might have a full grid. I'm still running on board with Eagle Ghost here. He's doing a pretty tidy lap. I'm not really sure in terms of the outright pace just yet. You don't want to. I generally you don't want to cut too much or take too much of the inside curbler, because it has the tendency to suck your car right round. And the Eagle will be well dialed into this track as Fox sits the first lap 42.4. But yeah, he'll be pretty well dialed into this, Chief, because he had a great race yesterday. And really should have won the race. Of course, he did what he thought would be the sporting thing to pull out off the race win against actually his man here, Crawley. So yeah, Eagle has definitely got his eye in for performance on this track. And I seen something, Chief, on your wee screen at the start. I don't know if it's relevant to the Tier 1 last season, but it says last season's Tier 2 pole was Matt. It was a 40, what was it, a 41.2, I think it said?
It could have possibly, Joel puts those together, so collect stats from previous seasons. But just about the quality paces, Eagle Ghost, they go 42.1. Eagle Ghost as well, home track for him. Our only Belgish driver.
Belgian.
But looking at the other tiers, the tier 2 pole time was a 140.6. So I'm expecting to see a few 40s in today's session. Tier 3 was 141.5, so about 9/10 off tier 2. So I'm expecting, a few of these drivers to dip into the 40s, but a low 41 is definitely good enough for top 10, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I agree. You can see these top two properly into the low 41s. I mean, if they're doing like 40s in tier 2, I mean, of course, you would certainly expect the likes of Justin and Tino, for example, to certainly bang in a 40 as well. We might even see a 39. I don't know what if 39 would be kind of out of the realm of possibility today, but we will certainly see. We've got, just over 11 minutes to go in quali, and these times are not flying in just yet. We've only got, 7 times on the board, and Icewind is, he retired actually. I think he's getting out of it. He wants to start at the back. And we're still waiting for Dan the Man as well. He is currently the championship lead, I believe. Isn't that right, Chief? So
yeah,
we're going to see. Also, just before we get into the proper racing, if people can let us know if the audio levels are all right, if we're not too loud or too quiet. We want to get that nipped in the bud before the race starts.
Yeah. Meepo now P1, 41.3. Rumpo P2, 41.4. Attempts separating P1, P2, and then P2, P3. So getting a bit tight at the top. CM Punk in chat is saying, looking at other tiers, my brother in Christ, tier 2 didn't even have his stream yesterday, which is very unfortunate. I heard only 12 drivers showed up for that one, but yeah, it does happen unfortunately, but we do look to get all tiers covered. So if any commentators are out there, budding commentators, drop me a wee DM and we can sort you out. Commentators are like hen's teeth, man. We're a rare breed. Bob, isn't that right?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, how long have we been doing this? Like, we've been doing this for flipping years now, and I mean, I can count on the back of my hand, like, really how many proper full-time commentators we've had. So it is hard to keep them, and then sometimes you get really good ones, and then they just kind of just stop doing it as well. So, but then the problem also you have is a lot of the guys that would normally commentate like the race as well. So that's the only issue you will have. But no such kind of things you'll expect in Tier 1. Oh, what's going on here with Fox? What's going on with Fox? Fox is just driving straight across the chicane and everything. I think he's trying to get out of the way. Yeah, getting out of the way onto the gravel. Yeah. But I was going to say, no such thing happens with me and Chief. If we sign up, you will almost guarantee that we're going to be here every week. Come rain, sleet or snow, we'll be here to cover the show. Oh, what about that, Chief? Hey, do you hear that? That was quite dramatic.
That was actually impressive stuff. On board with Touge at the minute. He is on a lap, looking pretty pacey. He had to make his way through some traffic there, but looking pretty good for Touge. Looking at the Sector 2 time. Sector 3 really is just bus stop. It's this long run up. You got Blanchemont as well. Flat out left-hander. But bus stop is where a lot of time can be gained and lost. And then it's that final run up to the start-finish line. So let's see how he does. He's flat out for Blanchemont there. Comes over to the left-hand side. Tries to hit the apex and carry as much momentum. Hit the second apex, run out wide. On the par early. Let's see what Touge can do. It's a P3 for him. Just behind Rumpostrat. Under 1/10 of a second. So getting very tight at the top. And Danico is in the session. I don't know if you mentioned that. But he is back in, which is great to see.
Yeah, man, you're just literally reading my mind. I was just about to say that Dan the Man did get in. One guy that's been in and out like the hokey pokey. I think I will kind of show our age with that one is Icewind. He's one minute he's in, 1 minute he's out. And it said he left the session, and then just as soon as I said that, Icewind has joined the session, so he must be having some technical difficulties. We'll see how he gets on. Hopefully he can make it for the race. He did, of course, have that quite tense and stressful. Hopefully you can't hear my dog barking in the background. Quite tense moment last week whenever he was working really hard to get his pedals, and he did manage to get them up and running. So good job to Mr. Icewind. I'm just going to close my door because my French bulldog is very loud.
Justin Aert, he has started a lap there, and as he started, his teammate came out of the pits, and it looked like he might have got a nice slipstream up the Kemmel Straight, but unfortunately caught him a bit early, going for Eau Rouge, so his teammate had to back out. Actually, in saying that, he just passed his teammate there, so maybe it wasn't his teammate, but yeah, he has had to make his way through some traffic. He is on a lap right now. It looked pretty fast from what I've seen so far. He doesn't have a time on the board, so let's see how he does. Again, he's about to come up on some traffic, but I imagine if they see him coming, they're going to get out of the way pretty early here. Yep.
I don't know if there's any lag issues, Chief, but I've been running on board with Dan, and he seems to be jerking across the track, so I don't know if it's a him issue or if that's a me issue.
Okay, we'll check that out in a wee second. Yeah, Justin goes P1. He's the first guy to do a 40.7. Made that look pretty easy. Had to make his way through a lot of traffic. But yeah, I'm going to have a wee look at Dan now and see if I can pick up on some of this lag. He's invalidated his outlap, which doesn't really matter as he swings onto the start-finish straight. Let's see how he does. Hopefully he doesn't have lag, because that really could compromise his confidence going into this hot lap.
Well, while we're waiting to see what Dan the Man does, Chief, guy currently sitting in P3, really testing Meeple here in the P2 is Rombo Strat. He has just started his lap, Chief. If you are not watching anyone else, you could run on board with him to see how he gets on here as he's approaching the end of Sector 1 up the Rouge. A lot of time can be won and lost. Very late on the brakes. He's just down marginally on his time, so practically matched his best Sector 1. Really eats across the track there, just getting away with it. Kind of taking as much as you can. A little bit of correction on the steering wheel there, you can see. Must be a little bit of a brake lock he was experiencing there. Excuse me. Runs out not too wide, and we're going to see shortly the end of this Sector 2. As I like to say, eyes firmly fixed on the top right hand side of your screen to see if he is improving or not. It's easy to mess up here if you eat too much of the curve, because there's a bit of gravel starts and it just stops your car dead on the left hand side and it'll flicker around. But he is up by 2/10, which would put him in contention at the moment around about P5, P4 maybe, depending on how he navigates this final corner or this final section. This section isn't really much to do. It's mostly bus stop here is where it can be all won and lost, of course, and the traction zone as well. So heavy onto the brakes. Oh, and he's lost it. There you go. Job done. That's where I said you can lose it. And that's exactly where he lost it.
Yep, overcooked it. I mean, you do go into that corner, the bus stop sometimes, knowing you need to make up time, and you can get a bit greedy, as Rombo Strat did there, and quickly abandoned that lap, so he's back into the pits. We'll have another run at this. It is quite a long lap as well, especially considering you've got your in-lap and out-laps to contend with, as well as your actual hot lap. So all in all, it's almost 6, it could be 5-6 minutes before, for a hot lap run to take place.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just the main lap. It's not far off, as we can see there, 2 minutes. So it is one of the longer circuits. Excuse me. I'm also just reading the chat here. See, we've got Fabulous and apologising that he wasn't able to stream yesterday. That's no problem, Babs. But he says that, what is it? He's got a sore leg. It's hurting big time, and he couldn't sit straight. I'm wondering, is that a little bit of a sciatica? Because I actually get that it's always in my left leg, and it's agony after a while, but it kind of comes and goes. And if it is that, Babs, I would suggest a nice hot warm bath. That usually helps, and do lots of stretches. If it is that usually helps me out. But yes, the folks need to realise that all us streamers, the most of us anyway, we are off the kind of the vintage level, so these aches and pains are to be expected.
Yeah, it's like a commentator's love-in live chat. We've got Lepson, who's the commentator coordinator. He helps coordinate all the commentary for all the tiers, so big up Lepson. But yeah, Babs, CM Punk. We're just missing Wham, really, aren't we? And maybe Joel as well. Yeah, I just noticed actually Joel isn't on track today, so maybe no safety car today.
Maybe no safety car. But Chief, so we're getting into the squiggy bong time of it now. Everyone going out for their ultimate run to see what they can do. Look at this, pretty much everyone on the grid on an out lap. It's going to be tricky to follow everyone, Chief. We're just gonna have to pick a driver and run with it. So McKender is quite happy with his time at a 40.9. So he's quite happy with that. Of course, we'll need to keep an eye on Tino, who hasn't done a run yet. We haven't seen a banker lap from him, so we wouldn't really have any idea of if he is improving or not, although we just kind of have to expect that he will be. It is Tino after all. Chinari done a great job last week. Remember that fantastic battle at Silverstone going right into the final couple of corners? We've seen Christian in Tier 2 pull off a mega move in the final corner on the final lap in Silverstone to take the race win, and Tunaman almost did it himself as well. So Dan will also be looking for a good lap. But yeah, I don't know, Chief, I suppose who do you want to run on board with? I mean, I suppose Justin, is he furthest back? Who is most likely to cross the line first? I don't know. I'm tempted to run on the board with Justin, although I know he listens to the stream, so I don't want to put him under too much pressure. But he does seem to be the man who's at the most front end of the track. I see Tudge is up ahead and running as well. So yeah, I think Justin, Chief, I'm going to run on board with Justin.
Yep.
And I'll try my best to talk it through. So he gets on the traction pretty well. Easy to lose it there, of course. And just at the 100-meter boards, you want it heavy on the brakes and then nice and tight. A little bit of a slide there, but you don't mind if you run out too wide there. That's generally what most people do for the optimum run. And then it's just flat out. Does he go to 8th? He does shift up to 8th. I remember in previous games he kind of held it in 7th, but not today for Justin. Hits the DRS button, and it's just take a breather and get yourself dialed in for this late braking zone. I think you can brake much later there than what people realise. You don't want to eat too much of these curbs. You'll really unsettle it, but you kind of do have to be proper aggressive and throw it in to really squeeze every last bit of time on it. Easy to mess up your braking there. We've seen Eversnacks in the race actually messed up his brake bias, and he ran really deep there into Futuristic. So that's easy to mess up. Another tricky corner here. If you turn too late, you're off wide too early. You kind of lose it on the curb. But Justin's a wise old owl. He doesn't fall for that. Just after the curb, or at the curb, is the brake point. Again, not too much curb on the left. Justin's done a really good job here. I've actually missed the delta times, but I'm going to be able to see the top one, sector 2. He is up just under a tenth, so far he is going to cement his pole unless someone further back, Chief, will be able to challenge this. But we are just running down into bus stop. Tudge just crosses the line. He doesn't take pole, but he improves up to P5. Justin nailing this final section. There's only place where you could really lose time, especially here, tricky traction zone of the door. There's a little bump there, but he navigates it rightly, and he does not improve. He loses it in the bus stop. So who is on a time, Chief, to beat this?
Yeah,
Meepo's
up in his time, Bob. He's almost 4/10 up, so I don't think it's enough for pole unless he can get a lot of time in this bus stop. But yeah, the Ferrari boys are lurking in the background as well, and Danico is out. I see a yellow flag for Danico. Meepo up to P2, so Danico will not get a lap in, it looks like, and he will start back into the grid. Yeah, Tenari about to cross the line as well, and the other Ferrari right behind, Adesi. Tuna does improve, but doesn't improve position. Adesi, yeah, he's down on his time as well, so no one really improving on their last run there. Oh, I saw someone jump up there in the last second.
The last person to cross the line, I believe, was Tino.
I think he might have went P3 there, or P2, I think. If I caught...
Oh my God.
Well, I should never doubt Tino. P1 by 3/10 almost. Justin in chat, what is he saying? Traffic actually helped me. He got double slipstream in first straight, and final straight couldn't improve. So there you go. And Tino just coming out of nowhere, yeah, with a last across the line. Danico, I was expecting him to have a really good lap there, because he crossed the line with 4 seconds to spare, so he would have been the last guy to cross the line. But he had a problem, it looked like, in sector 2, which compromised his run, and he does not have a time on the board. Starting P17, behind him Icewind, and then Riot in P19. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I wasn't.
good,
Sorry, Chief. I was going to say I wasn't running on board with Dan, but I have a sneaky suspicion he may have invalidated.
yeah, it might have been the case. I just saw a yellow flag, so yeah, that might indicate he just backed out completely from that lap. And we're looking at the sky here, and it looks kind of bright. Although, Belgium has its own weather system. It's up in the Ardennes? Ardennes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it pretty much has its own climate system, a bit like Austria. So it can be sunny 1 minute, and next minute it's torrential rain. Lepson did say there's a snowstorm predicted for the race, which would be a first for the F1 game, but I'd be all for that. Argument saying full dry race, so there we go. That puts that to bed. Mikander, sorry Bob, I just want to say Mikander, he is now P3 on the grid if I'm remembered correctly, which is great for him. He's such a bad driver that, to get up so high in quali, it's incredible. He's improved a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even talk about him today because the guy's absolute trash. So, I mean, it's to get up to P3 there is actually quite a great job. So fair play to him. Didn't expect that from him.
Yeah, let's see how he does in the race. Hopefully he's able to finish with his lack of skills.
He's got this really bad habit of hitting that fantastic driver Meepo. He just seems to end up hitting Meepo all the time. So,
yeah, that's something to watch out for. It might be a running theme for this season. Meepo and Mikander rubbing shoulders a little too aggressively. So here we go. Formation lap is underway. It is looking like a dry session. We had that confirmed by R Gamer. Thanks for that information. And yeah, Tino leading the way today.
Yeah, Tino on the hards, Chief, and then everyone else behind him on the medium. So even with all that incredible pace that Tino does have, going to be a tricky first lap for sure to hold off the likes of Justin and let me see who else there. Romperstrat and Chunari and Adesi to hold those guys off.
I always thought Spa was a soft medium track, and then I see these guys on hards like Tino. He obviously knows what he's doing out there, so I'm not doubting the fact that hard soft or hard medium is possible. But yeah, I always thought medium soft was the way to go.
I suppose it's fair to feel that. I just generally find that it was quite a high wear track because just the amount of corners, the amount of load that gets put on the tires on these corners. It is a fast track, but with all these really fast corners, there's an awful lot of load put on them. So yeah, I generally find it was quite a high wear track. But hey, what do we know, Chief?
Exactly, what do we know? Yeah. Yeah, the other thing I was going to point out is Danny Coe at the back, P17. We're going to expect big moves from him. We've seen that he's not a stranger to being at the back of the grid due to various issues throughout the numerous seasons he's taken part in. It's actually a good thing for us as spectators that Danny goes at the back of the grid. Usually he is joined by Mikander at the back of the grid, and we get the pleasure of seeing them make their way through the grid. But it is a tricky one because he is a faster driver. He's at the back end of the grid, so he has to make his way through a lot of traffic. So we will be keeping an eye on that. But Tino up front, looking very strong here. He is a reserve, so his points won't count towards a championship. So Justin, really, if we're looking at the championship, the driver championship for this season, he's in the best spot right now.
Yeah, but we've seen in previous races, again, Chief, don't want to curse the guy, but he has been in some fantastic positions. And in terms of race strategies as well, like last week he was on a great tire strategy. He was the first of the hard runners, I believe, where he was really catapulted into a fantastic position. And then, of course, he had that incident with, was it the Red Bull of Mali, I think it might have been. And that just completely cost it for him. So yeah, he'll be really looking to hang on to the back of Tino or even pass him. But yeah, we are lining up on the grid. Hopefully I get a good camera. I cannot hear my game at all, but then again, if it's too loud, people can hear over the stream. So we will see if there's going to be any opportunistic moves into turn 1 as the lights are on, and it is go time in Spa as Tino leads the pack away here at Belgium, and everyone seems to be off in a pretty good line, although already we'll have Mackinder trying to defend and fight against Meepo here, and they're almost coming together, but no, nothing doing it. But who's this? Rumblestrap is trying to squeeze up the right hand side here of Mac, and I think he wisely backs out of that one. You don't want to lose it all in the first race, but oh my god, Nike, who's not in front of him? It was Otto. Otto loses it. Oh my goodness, he loses it on the top of Eau Rouge, and that was almost a collision between the two drivers, but that was their own error. But anyway, further on ahead here, Chief, we have guys going side by side. Eagle jumping up. We got another person off. We got Tunaman. Tunaman is off. He is back at 18th. He's probably going to be last now when he corrects this. So incidents happening left, right, and centre here. They're all bunching up onto each other here as we're going round this hairpin. The Ferrari of the Desi is dropping back even further. So yeah, a couple of changes here already, Chief. But at the front so far, Justin is keeping nicely tucked up. He's keeping tucked up nicely into the back of Tino. We're still seeing a yellow further back. I seen Tunaman is off again. And we get a virtual safety car, Chief. So not even get to the end of Sector 2, and we have got drama already here at Spa.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. That guy Otso, the first guy to come off at a Rouge there, actually didn't get damage from that, I believe. Just the way his car contacted the wall with the side of the car. It looked like he got away with that. Yeah, and Tenari, so a number of guys getting caught up in incidents on the first lap. So VSC has been called just to calm things down a little bit. Danny Koo profiting nicely off that first run up to P13 for Danny Koo. But Adesi, I'm wondering if he has damage. He does indeed. Part of his front end plate is missing. We might see him go into the pits. He does not, as Skamagas gets a 5-second penalty. Severe collision with Eagle Goose.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, and it's... yeah, there must have been something happened there. It must have been under the VSC, but we are underway anyway, Chief. I'm curious if there was an incident between Tunaman and, Adesi, because they were quite close to each other, but never mind. We'll go back to the action here, and Meepo is looking to start putting a bit of pressure here on Justin. Meepo not afraid to send it if he sees the opportunity. That's how you get the race wins. He did win the opening race of the season here in Tier 1, and he's keeping up nicely here with Justin. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell with Tino if he's struggling or not. He just could be pacing himself. He's got the pace on these hards, but I would generally expect to see Justin and Meepo and this other guy Mac, who's surprised me in P4, hang behind Tino. I think that we would expect to see them pass. And we got another yellow. We've got Naiku off again. So yeah, these can we say lower tier drivers are certainly causing a bit of a mix-up here going on into Tier 1. As Icewind nearly gets a bit too much curb there and falls victim to what I've been kind of predicting in quality there, Chief, is that getting too much curb, it kind of sucks your car right round. It kind of slows your inside tire in comparison to the rest of your car. But he is, he's going for it. He's going to pass Adesi, and it makes sense because he is on the softs. So he wants to capitalise as much as possible. What's going up here up ahead at Meepo? Meepo was also going to have a little bit of a look.
McKenna on the inside. Looks like he's going for an opportunistic move on Meepo, but his exit was compromised, and he's actually dropped position to Rumpelstrat on the start-finish straight. And I was looking at Desi there. Desi's struggling big time. Probably should have pitted, as we see too wide here. Who is this?
Tino went really deep, Chief, and I don't know if it was intentional or not. I think he kind of wants to sit behind and get a bit of DRS.
He's lining up nicely here for Justin. He's going to open DRS, and this is going to be an easy move from him. So yeah, bit of mind games there as Justin tries to fight it, but and look behind. Is that Meepo? Meepo going on the inside, and what an audacious move. It looks like a free wide maybe. Oh my word, that was hairy. How did they make it through there alive? That was crazy.
That was great driving by the both of them, to be honest, to be fair to them. Rumpelstrat just taps the back end of Meepo there. Rumpelstrat is a dark horse here because, he is a very, 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 very quick young man. I think he's a young man. And, we already seen him pass this guy, Mackinder. I think he's supposed to be half decent, but I don't know. And so he's shifting and he's keeping close intact with Meepo here. Meepo eating quite a lot of curb there. this is like a kind of a. I kind of was speaking to Meepo about this earlier on in the week, that whenever that helmet goes on, he becomes a man possessed, a young man possessed, and it's no F's given, let's say, within reason. Whenever he's in that seat, he is there to win, and it doesn't matter what happens, he's there to win. And you know rightly that he is gunning for this win at Spa.
Yeah, he's certainly not out there to make friends today. But going by his driving, it looked like he was thinking about another move there. As Rumpelstrat goes deep, looked like he was just too close behind Meepo there, and McKender now able to profit. Touge as well gets past Rumpelstrat down to P6, and Crawley Voice alongside Rumpelstrat, just showing you how much of a mistake that was. It cost him big time as Meepo and Justin going side by side. Justin gets by, and Justin holding on to a P2 spot now, going through Eau Rouge.
Yeah, it was an important pass by Justin, but Meepo's going to catch him napping and floors it on the battery and just absolutely yeets his battery down to 38%, and determined to hold on to that P2 to control Justin as best we can. We have seen a bit of I wouldn't say beef, but kind of a bit argy-bargy on the race and in the chat between Justin and I think these Finns. So as they say, no love lost. We like a little bit of drama here in SLR. And there's no love lost between these guys. But the longer this goes on, Chief, the more it just plays into Tino's hands. He is on the better tyre overall in terms of race distance. And yeah, he will soon, I would expect, start to eke away from these guys as these laps get up.
Absolutely. Danico in P10, now on the back of Marty, shall we call him? He's on those mediums, has made up about 7 positions. Iceland as well, he's on these soft tires. Oh, as I just caught him going a little bit wide there, but yeah, Iceland's on it as well. He is getting up to speed, he's P11, he's on soft tires, and not too far away from Danico up ahead. Danico is about to catch these guys ahead. We've got an Alpine, we've got a Mercedes and Fox. There's quite the train ahead, so Danico is in the train. And at the front of that train is Tino.
Yeah, and there's we'll expect a bit more switcheroo going on here, Chief, as we get into this DRS zone. Meepo and Justin are quite, in comparison, they'd say, they are quite close to Tino here, so it depends on how much battery he's got. He is usually quite good with his battery use, so he should be able to defend this, but there's a chance that he might come under attack here from Meepo. Meepo is not afraid to attack, but it makes sense for him to not attack too much because he needs to conserve battery. I don't see anybody else. There is a wee move, I think, further back there. Icewin and Juno, passing each other. But this gives me an opportunity, Chief, to quickly touch on the chat. Lepson said from the Merc garage, directly from the Mercedes garage, that Eagle had no warning to the safety car ending. But our wonderful admin, R-Gamer, says upon reviewing the footage, Eagle did indeed have a warning to the VSC ending, so he's basically saying that's cap, Lepson, cut the beer.
Good stuff from Chad, keeping us on our toes, keeping us basically they're Pitley and Ted at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, I love to see them on it because I like getting in, interacting with them, but as well as just the info that like people like our gamer and stuff can give us. It's really helpful because it gives a bit better context into the race should things happen. So yeah, I love to see the boys in chat.
Yeah, and we've got a break in this DRS train. It's now P1 to P6 because Fox is just on the... Oh, he's got back in, but he's teeteringly close to getting outside DRS range. And that's bad news for Danico. If Danico knows he has to get a move on here, he can't lose touch with the front of this grid. He really wants to... I think at the minute, his driving is good, but I'm seeing a lot of jittery movements, and that might indicate some technical issues for Danico, as he has a look on the inside there, just showing his nose, as they say. But yeah, he looks a bit twitchy, and I think it's technical issues for the McLaren driver, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can see Meepo is really starting to take off here, and he's going to go for the race lead on Tino, and I think Tino's not going to fight that too much. And Justin wasn't too fussed, I don't think, of him getting away, because Justin was quite happily charging his battery. He's got it up to a nice healthy 80%. And another guy who likes to play it long is McKender behind. He'll be excuse me, I still have this wee cough. he'll be, he kind of starts showing his hand as we get into the latter stages. So yeah, I don't expect anything too drastic from him just yet. But yeah, Meepo likes to be in P1. That's the position he likes to stay in. And yeah, I don't think Tino was too fussed about that one, Chief. Quite happy to let him pass. He will be easily able to keep into the DRS zone of him and just follow along.
Yeah, just while you were talking there, Danny Coe got past Martiskin. I think, yeah, heading into the set of corners after Camel Straight. But if you look at Fox, that gap is now 2 seconds. So the lead pack are breaking away, and Danny Coe needs to get some moves done here. He looks like he's lining up Crawley Voice and Fox ahead. Fox seems to be struggling in this part of the race. Crawley Voice on these old softs, and Danny Coe is looking pretty good for a move here. Ooh, and Crawley had to back out a little bit there, and Crawley into the pits, so that allows Danny Coe to get up to P8 without much ado. But Fox ahead, he doesn't have DRS, so Danny Coe's going to snatch this position.
Yeah, he's going to be a gift for Danny. He's just going to yeet past. So you would expect further up ahead, Justin is very, very close, almost got a full battery. I would kind of expect him to go for this. It kind of makes sense. He's going to have a bit of an attack, but no, not happening. Tino is got the DRS as well, and so not happening. Justin, of course, switches off the overtake button and sits behind for another lap. Our gamer posts, Steve, a bit of intel or more opinion. Oh, Meepo's dead. Meepo's gone.
Oh no!
Meepo lost it on the exit, and that is the end of Meepo. It might even, is he full damage? No, he's managed to keep it on track.
Oh my word!
The rejoin, yeah, that might get reported, but we will see. So Meepo goes from P1 to P12.
Yeah, I was looking at his driving. It is very aggressive, and this track will punish you hard if you make the slightest mistake. And I mean, it's easy to say. He looked like he was on it, but maybe just pushed it a little bit too much there. And he's starting P12, hopefully with no damage. Hopefully he can get back in the race. But look at Danny Coe, up to P6 already. 2.4 off the lead pack though, so he's going to have to do some work to get that gap under control. But the problem for Danny Coe right now is all the guys ahead of him DRS to Tino, and he doesn't. So we'll keep an eye on that gap, see if he can do some work on it.
Yeah, they're all going to suck each other along. So
Rumpelstrat in the pits. He's on 6 lap mediums, so that is a very early pit stop for mediums.
Well, on that, what I was going to say, our gamer posted that he expects the hard and medium runners to pit for softs around the same time, so it might be a like for like. What are we saying here? Lobson's saying, "Come on, Meeps, keep following the line. It goes to show you, even with all your assists, you can still lose it." And we have guys, the top couple of guys, no assists. Yeah. The way it should be, we say. Anyway, and our gamer's Danny will probably drain the battery in the coming laps. Yes, I kind of would agree with that. He has to catch up to this front pack and start joining the party. So that's to be expected. Yeah.
Yeah. Rumpelstrad came out P13 on fresh hards, now P12 as he passes Nycow. So he's went for a big undercut, and that's worth keeping an eye on. He does have a clear track ahead, and I'm wondering, he sacrifices the fact he was in that lead DRS train, so he does miss out on that DRS, but the clear air ahead of him, he's on these hard tires, he is definitely worth a watch.
Yes. So would you have any idea when they do pit, Chief? Is it around what lap 11, 12, something like that? You would expect them to come in?
Yeah, I think mediums, it depends where you're going to. Like if you're going to hards, you can't afford to go a bit earlier if you're on those mediums. But if you're looking to go to softs, yeah, you probably want to go just about halfway or just over that. Hopefully our gamer is a very accomplished driver in Tier 2. Maybe he can give us some intel on that, because it's been a while since I've been on track. But that was my understanding of this track. Is a Desi as well. It pitted, puts on fresh hards, but he's way off with that earlier incident. He had to get a front wing change as well. But I'm looking up front here. Tino and Justin looking closer than ever. And Justin 4 tenths behind now. I think he should be able to get this moved on. I mean, usually you can make up about 5, 6, 7 tenths on the run down to Camel's, or on the run down Camel Straight, and looks like he might be too far back, but a lot of overspeed here. Is he going to pull alongside? No, he's happy enough to stay behind for now. McKenna in P3, just waiting, lurking in the background. Icewind up to P8, passing Eagle Ghost. Icewind, the last guy on those softs, so he's making them work, and seems to be working out nicely for him.
Yeah, and Gamer says that he agrees with Ocean pitting for softs around lap 12, which I did say as well. I did say it's about lap 12. Just want to let you know that. Anyway, yeah, Justin, you generally want to be a little bit. You want to be actually a good bit closer at turn 1, going up the hill to really capitalize on that DRS straight, because Teo was just managing this so well, like with his battery, and considering he hasn't really had DRS except for one lap. So he's doing a great job here, showing his raw pace. But I mean, according to me, even if Gamer says there, you would expect the hard and mediums to pit roughly around the same time. So it kind of makes you feel that, would that suggest maybe the hard and mediums kind of are a bit samey. The difference isn't maybe too noticeable in this track. I don't know. We will see.
We will indeed. And Justin was riding around there and he had 100% ERS, which I always find really weird, because surely that's inefficient, because you're charging but your battery can't hold any more battery because it's at 100%, so surely it makes sense just to use some anyway. But Justin, experienced driver, knows what he's doing.
He's closer.
Yep, he's closer than ever. 2/10. It's hard to see how you won't go for this move yet. Under 3/10 yep. Looks like it's yeah, he's lined them up here. He's probably going to go down the inside, uses a bit of ERS just to make sure that the deal is sealed, and Tino not fighting it too hard. Oh, but look behind, McKender, O'Touge going for an opportunity here and catches McKender napping a little bit. McKender fighting this. They're going side by side.
Oh, that goes off.
Oh my word, no.
So Dan the man has also caught up, Chief, almost. And Dan, yeah, getting really twitchy. He is absolutely flooring it. So Dan is now can see this pack. He can see this lead pack. And so there's no surprise there. A real demonstration of why he's leading the championship. He has amazing pace, has our Dan. And yeah, he will just love all this fight. But yeah, it looks like on my screen Dan is kind of just sliding about the track, but I think it's a connection issue.
It may well be, it may well be. And yeah, you're right, Danny. The fact that he can see these guys now, and our gamer was right. He has used a bit of ERS. He's down to 35%, but I think it's an investment. I mean, if he can get in the back of this DRS trend, that is money in the bank, and he is willing the guys ahead of him to be fighting as well. The more they fight, the more opportunity he has to close up on them.
Yeah, this gamer guy seems to know what he's talking about, doesn't he, Chief? He seems to know his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to see him in Tier 1, actually. He's done a few races and had a few decent results, so maybe someday we will see that.
Yeah. If you want to see our gamer in action, folks, tune in on Thursdays. You'll see him in Tier 2 doing a great job, actually, I think, in that season. He's really keeping it up there with the front guys. Definitely a contender for the title, I think. he can still do it. But we'll see. Tino passes again Justin to retake the race lead. And tell you what, Tudge, excuse me, is doing a great job here. Of course, he is on the hards. So, we kind of expected the hards would have a little bit more wear by this stage, or left in them, than the mediums. Tudge is doing a great job, and of course he was McKender's 10-second time penalty for also. My goodness,
he's not having a good day. I think he must have caught.
5-second penalty. Yeah, he's retiring. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think he cut the bus stop. Usually you get a 10-second penalty, as Icewind knows from a previous race. Yeah, I mean. As I say that, Icewind gets a free second time penalty. I'm just looking at the gap to leader. Rumbostrat is 15 seconds off the lead. Make that 14 seconds. So he's went for that undercut. It looks like once everybody pits, he's going to be leading this race. But everyone behind him will have fresh tires. So that's something to consider for this race.
A gamer said that he's a fraud if he drives in Tier 1 with assist. Listen, I don't care, really. I would like to see him here. I think he could definitely mix it up with these guys at the front. definitely he has the pace. The guy just keeps getting faster and faster every time I see him. So I think he would be well suited for maybe a wee reserve maybe next week in Tier 1. But we're going to, anyway, still focus on this race. Meepo is, what's that, up to P7? He's still up to P7, though he's jumping people in the pits, I believe that is, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few guys pitting there. Icewind, one of them, on those soft tires, ran them 10 laps long. Eagle goes into the pits. Eagle goes putting softs on, so yeah, we're over that halfway point in the race, so this is the opportunity for these drivers to pit and put on softs. Some might go for mediums, opting for that, but Rompo Strat is right on the back of Meepo, and that is interesting. He caught him quite considerably there, showing how potent these fresh tires are. So Rompo Strat up to P6 and basically in lead of this race, even though he's P6 right now. Once everybody pits ahead, he is going to be in the lead by quite a few seconds.
Yeah, he was challenging these guys, as we seen earlier on. He was challenging McKender and the guys at the front there. I would say that he does have the pace. He's a very, very quick guy, and I think, didn't he win or almost win? I think he got a podium in the first race as well. I think he came P2. He was fighting Meepo.
That's right, yeah, equals P1. Rompo Strat P2 for that one.
Yeah, we got another prediction. We got I like predictions. Gamer says my prediction for Danny is that he will undercut to catch the DRSQ. So we will keep our eyes on that to see if Mystic Gamer has been proven right once again.
Yeah, I actually was thinking that he probably would have pitted earlier than this, but I'm watching him now. I'm wondering, is he thinking of pitting? But I think the problem is the lead pack are pitting as well. Justin stays out, McKender stays out, but Tino and Touge in the pits. Danny Coe joins him. So yeah, he's going for that earlier pit stop. And I wonder what tires these guys are going to put on. I think softs would probably be optimal at this point, but we know some drivers do favour the mediums over the softs.
But man, that's actually really interesting that, you know, the two hard runners pit before the two medium runners. So might have think, I don't know, maybe I think Justin and McKender have kind of missed a trick there. I've not pitting, you know, this lap because, well, you would kind of expect that Tino and Tudge will then pass them. But then again, we still have to see what Dan the Man does, sticks on softs. Given his pace in those mediums, Chief, Dan the Man is going to be an absolute rocket ship.
Yeah, and that's the problem for Rompo Strat on this big undercut. It looks good right now, but once these guys all pit and they're on fresh tires behind them, they're going to be chasing them down pretty hard, especially the soft runners. Danny Coe did opt for the softs. Touge and Tino, interestingly, went for mediums. So we've seen that in previous races. You know, generally the soft is a better tire, but mediums are just give you that consistency for a bit longer, and drivers do seem to prefer that sometimes.
Yeah, I remember Icewind used to tell me that overall the best race tire is the mediums. So yeah, people like to switch on to them for their final stint. We don't normally see the softs that often in previous games because they kind of just die pretty quickly. Eagle, of course, on his fresh softs as well. He'll be looking to get up. We got Tuna Man.
Oh, Tunari is out. That looks like
we got a full course safety car.
Oh my word, this is huge for McKender and Justin, who were just at the pits, able to peel into the pits. Probably were actually in the pits already when that safety car flashed up. So this is huge for them. Might save them some time. Tino gets a drive-through penalty driving on speeding under safety car. Oh my word, that is terrible. That's him out of the running for the win of this race unless he can pull off a miracle. That is huge. That is that's an interesting one. I mean, he's a very experienced driver. It's very unusual to see that.
I am surprised, I have to say, to see that, but that's just music to the ears of Justin and McKender. And yeah.
I was just going to say, Rompo Strat deciding to pit, and I think it was a good call because yeah, Tino was about 3 seconds behind once he came out of the pits. Yeah, so he would have been hunted down, and that he definitely wouldn't have contended for the win today. But on these fresh softs, he definitely has a choice, or definitely has a chance at podium, if not winning this race. Danny Coe is back in it. He's P5. He's managed to gain a lot of positions to put himself in a really solid with a solid shot of a podium and a race win himself. There's a number of drivers I'm looking at here could easily win this race. And
Yeah, Gamer. Sorry, I was going to say Gamer.
Yeah, I was just going to point out Crawley voice in P8. That's great. Good job, Crawley.
Yeah, the Gamer suggesting that he thinks that Tino must have got a wee bit desperate trying to get ahead of Justin and Mac in the pits, or not the pits, just got behind the safety car and messed up that. What was his error again? Sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. He got a drive-through for speeding under the pit out of safety car, is that right?
Yeah, speeding. He was on track, so he had already done his pit stop, speeding under the safety car.
Ah, look at this. Babulous is saying, carnage at the restart. It's not tier 3, so unlikely. But then again, we have seen a few carnage races over the years in tier 1. It doesn't happen that often, thankfully. But I don't know, man. Really, turn 1, you usually see a bit of argy-bargy at the start of our safety car restart in Spa. But we'll see. It is, of course, a long lap behind the safety car, and he will most certainly be going for another run as we're waiting for Skamakas, I think that's Skamakas, to catch up the field.
Yeah, and looking at Meepo here as well. Meepo having that earlier incident, now P7. He's in the lead pack. Everybody's bunched up again, so this kind of resets the race, rejiggles the positions a little bit. But Meepo will be glad of that safety car, brings him back into the race, and we've seen how aggressive he can be. He's on the soft tires. So yeah, I mean, there is quite a potential for carnage here, because that run down the Kemmel Straight is such a long straight, and it's very hard to go side by side for the following corners there, as we've seen on lap 1. And we've got a good mix of tire strategies here. A lot of guys on softs, a lot of guys on mediums. Tino and Touge, the highest running medium runners. So yeah, there is a potential for a bit of carnage here, Bob.
Yeah, man, it's only 56, 17, 18, 21. What's that? 7 laps? 7 laps to go. Justin will be so focused. He will be dialed into this. He has missed out on a lot of very, very valuable points that he really should have got, but of course, not to his doing. He was got taken out in a few incidents. Things happened. But he has a couple of very, very quick and fast. That doesn't make sense. He has a couple of quick drivers behind him, all dying to take those valuable 25 points off him. And I think we will most likely be getting underway at the end of this lap. And yeah, he will have 7 laps, Chief, to hold off the charge of McKender and Tino and Tudge and Dan and even Rumpostrap. Maybe even Meepo will be able to get in on the mix. If he can keep it on track this time.
Yeah, I think Justin's biggest kind of potential here, or for the race win, is everybody behind him fighting to the point where he can just break away and stretch his legs a little bit up front. But he has Murderer's Row behind him as safety car is in this lap. McKender, Tino, Touge, Danny Co, Rumpostrap, Meepo. What a list of names to have behind you. I know I'd be freaking on that cockpit right now, but Justin is he's been in this position many times, and he, in this exact position as well, leading a safety car restart. And let's see how he does it here as we ride on board with McKender and get a front row seat.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go too late. I think he might go just before a bus stop. Maybe not, we'll see. I wouldn't want to be trying to restart just at the end of our around the corner bus stop, but it looks like Justin is indeed going to do that. So he's probably going to he has to, he's no choice now. He has to yeet it here at the exit, and yeah, off he goes. And Justin gets McHenry gets a little bit of a sloppy exit out of bus stop, and Tino is right on him. But nothing doing it. Mac just runs a little bit deep, and Tino was having a little bit of a look there, but he slips back into the slipstream, looking further down the grid, everyone following behind nicely. So Tino is really going to be boosting to get past Mac, and he takes the racing line. A little bit of a touch there, and Justin is making his intentions very clear. He is blocking off that inside line and cuts across, of course, to take the race line. And he holds on so far as Marty Skin gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Looking down further on the grid, yeah, everyone navigating that nicely. No one really going for any moves just as yet. Of course, they'll all be waiting for this DRS. That's the main place to get it. Although Juno was having a little bit of a look there at Scamakas. And then, of course, this is where all the Squeaky Bum is moments on this fast, is it Puon, I think you call it? I can't remember.
Yep.
And yeah, Juno is indeed still looking. He's looking to get a move down here on Scamakas. This is going to be quite an interesting move. We don't normally see people go around side by side there, and he gets it done. But then Scamakas is going to try and come for a cutback on him. That's not going to work there. Not a chance, but he might get a run on him. As we get down into bus stop further up the field, I don't see anyone flicking through the cars here that's going to do anything just yet. So, yeah, nothing given on taking, as they say, yet. Dan is really positioning himself nicely here, Chief, to come recover from that quality session to get himself up here in P5 and definitely well within a shout of the race lead here. But this is still great points for Dan. A great recovery to defend that current title lead that he has, our title championship lead. DRS still not activated. It will be activated the next lap. But I think Mac is going to have a bit of a run here on Justin. And Justin has no choice. He cannot defend that inside line. And he's hanging on as best he can. And Tino is going to be a 3 wide. Tino backs out of it. But Mac,
Justin hanging around the outside there and gets the inside line for the next corner, but McKender has the momentum to keep that position. Great driving from these guys as Tino goes down the inside of Justin. That is an audacious move, and they're side by side heading into No Name, and Justin's forced off track and joins at speed, but oh my word, Touche had a bit of a moment there as he saw the Alpha crossing his racing line. Justin going down the inside of Puyon, so he is fighting back. He's not going down without a fight here, but Justin losing out 2 spots there.
Yeah, Justin will definitely feel that he was forced off there. He did a great job to recover, and he's still right back on the back of McKenna. That is just like a red rag to a bull. That Justin has fell victim to quite a few instances in these races, and he will be determined to get that back.
Yeah, and factor in the fact that Tino has a drive-through penalty, so is effectively not contending for a podium, whereas Justin's contending for the win, so he won't be happy about that, as Tino does indeed peel into the pits. Justin up to P2, so everybody jumping in position, and we have DRS enabled, as I think someone went really wide there. I think it might have been Meepo in the Williams, yeah. Meepo, there's contact, and he hits 2 cars. Alpine hit him, and then he goes into another car, but he managed to recover nicely there. So a lot of contact going into turn 1. Meepo holding on to P5 though nicely.
Yeah, this battle's really kicking up. Riyadh has got a crazy amount of overspeed here, and he's going to get past 1. Is he going to get past 2? No, he's not. He's going to hang on, but he gets past Crawley. He's going to go for it. No, he's not. I think he just has to allow himself on Crawley, and Riyadh are coming to a bit of contact. Riyadh, of course, on those softs, but he runs off deep. Crawley might have a little bit of a look up here on the inside. No, not going to be given, or not going to do it, so they all hang on for the next lap. But yeah, Justin will be, I think, probably livid in that car of his, because that AlphaTauri, because that incident with Tino not only makes them thrown off track, but it lost him the DRS of Max, so he's had to deploy a lot of battery.
Yeah, look at him, 11% now, so I saw him using it there, and parts of the track you don't usually see a car using ERS, as you do want to conserve some, but he knows how important that DRS is. Once he gets the DRS, he can start harvesting, so that has played off nicely. He's invested all his ERS, it makes him a bit vulnerable if he wasn't able to get the DRS range under control, but he is in DRS range. But Touche behind as well, 5% ERS, so he's had to use a lot to hang in here with the lead pack.
Yeah, Martiskin got a move done on Riyadh into the pits on Rombostrat and to the bus stop, but we got a yellow, somebody retired. Rombostrat sending it on Marty Skin. Marty Skin read it like a book and just waited him for to go past. and got the Slipstream. But the only thing is, Rumpelstrat, who's going to get the DRS between these two, Rumpelstrat and Marty Skin? Who's going to get it? Will it be Marty Skin? Does he hit? It will be Marty Skin, so he will just fly past here. Rumpelstrat. Oh, this is getting really heavy.
Yeah,
this is getting...
There was not much room given there. That looked pretty hairy, but he gets to move down up to P6 for Marty Skin. Does have that penalty as well, so yeah, he wants to get a move on, doesn't he, big time?
Yeah, and Justin here, only 4 laps to go. Right enough, as our gamer says, not much battery. He doesn't have a lot of time, to recover on the DRS. The only thing that is that McKendra also doesn't have much battery. He was absolutely deploying it there, hoping to get away there from Justin with that incident with Tino, which drops Justin out of the DRS. If that hadn't happened, Justin would have been nicely tucked up tight behind McKendra. Maybe would have been a slightly different race, but alas, we will see. Only a few more laps to go. Justin is indeed within the DRS range of Mac, and Mac again doesn't have much battery. Neither does Justin. Neither does Tudge. Neither does Maple. They all have basically the same battery. But only with Dan the Man with slightly more. Don't count out Dan the Man just yet. He might pull off something here remarkable as Maple's light is flashing. Justin will likely not overtake here. It makes sense to hang on here till the very last lap now. If you're in this position, it kind of makes sense to hang on. Justin or McKendra doesn't really have much to deploy with. He will probably be anticipating that Justin will be deploying, so he might not deploy either, because you don't want to be first as we're running into the final lap. Certainly on Spa, where DRS is so powerful, and right now Justin is not deploying. It'll just be DRS, so this is it, Chief. Although Dan the Man, not such doing. He is getting a move on. He switches up to P4. Still going to be great points for McLaren. As Rumpelstrat is, went right and then left there, so I don't know what was going on about that. We'll maybe see later. Oh, and then as he gets really twitchy there on the exit where Meeple lost it. These guys are starting to heat up this battle in P6, 7, 8, and 9. So we'll keep a good eye on that. Scamacast getting himself a 3-second time penalty. And what's going on here? Yuno and Tino are fighting. Tino way at the back here after that drive through, and Chief, we've only 2 more laps to go, man.
Yeah, and it's I don't know what Tino did. It looked like he might have brake checked there. I don't know. Juho is having a bit of a moment here with Tino, able to. I don't know if Tino's just battling at the back for the lulls, but yeah, McKendra, Justin, Touge, all race contenders for the win here. Danico has got this DRS range almost under control, 1.1 currently, and hopefully for him heading down the towards Rouge, when that DRS detection point hits, he will be within 1 second. He is 8 tenths behind now, just 9 tenths. This is good for Danico. He's in the mix now. There's 1 lap after this one, and he absolutely sends it into turn 1 there. Yep, and he's going to get DRS range, as is Meepo. So P1 to P5, all in the DRS train for the win of this race.
Yeah, and watching further back as well, Martiskin is out of a battery, completely out of battery. He will have DRS as a kind of a saving grace, but yeah, not much use to defend against a Desi. He's got half a battery, and up ahead as well is Rumpelstrat, also out of battery, so we will expect to see a Desi pass him as well. So he will be marching up the grid. But these guys, Rumpelstrat and Meeple, have no battery. Dan the Man basically out of battery too. So these guys are all out of battery, and the ones with the most are the front 3 out of this pack of 5, Chief, or pack of 6. So it's going to come down to a DRS and lunges, I would think.
Yeah, and if you're looking at it from previous races, generally you want to be the guy behind, don't you? Justin is in a really good spot here, but he really has to nail turn 1 and bus stop as well. Like, it pretty much has to be as close as possible to McKendra heading into Rouge, and that's going to be his biggest chance to get this race win and take P1 on the final lap of this race. We've went to the wire in previous races, and I imagine this is going to be no different, Bob.
Yeah, man, we are approaching bus stop for the final lap in Spa here in Tier 1, and quite an interesting race it has been, certainly, with a few maybe Oh, Dan the man on touch! Contact!
Oh,
Dan the man on touch! I think Dan might have tapped the rear end of touch, so that has taken Dan certainly out of contention because I think he may have got damage. Meepo catapults up to P3, but we will fix our eyes on to this.
oh, and there's shenanigans. Yeah, McKender is slowing down, and he was hoping that Justin would take him over, and that would allow McKender to get the DRS. But yeah, Justin is wise to that. Hangs back, and he's going to go around the outside, and look, he's going to take the lead of this race. It's worked out perfectly for Justin. Well played. He is not going to fall for those mind games of McKender, not today.
Yeah, Justin was a man possessed today. I think he was determined to get this race win, and the great recovery, excuse me, after that little bit of an incident, in a yellow somewhere further back, but after that in the incident with Tino, which we'll find out later on, maybe in the interviews, but that move is it done, I believe, as long as he can keep it on track, doesn't get himself any penalties. It is going to be a victory for Justin, and he will be thinking at last. He maybe thinks he should have had a few more wins in the bag by now. But yeah, so far it's looking pretty good for Justin here. Oh,
yeah, Danny Coe going around the outside of Meeple. That was an audacious. We're seeing plenty of audacious move today, and that was another one. But look at it, Desi. Oh my word, that's Meeple and Danny Coe coming together. It looked like one of the wheels hooked up on the other car, and he became a passenger. So Danny Coe's aggression not paying off in that instance. A Desi up to P3 though. That's huge.
We might see a move here, Chief, on Meepo on Dan, maybe a last-minute lunge. This is getting quite tetchy. Is he going to be a last-minute lunge? No, Dan is able to cover it off nicely, and Justin crosses the line to win Spa. McKender crosses P2. A Desi out of nowhere bangs it in P3. Rompustrat P4. Dan the man manages to recover and gets a P5. Meepo into P6. Crawley P7. Great result from Crawley. Marty Skin, I believe, his debut Tier 1 reserve into P8. Tudge P9. Icewind 10. Eagle 11. Naiku 12th. Skellicasa P13. And of course, I finished in the back row there of 14th and 15th is Juno and Tino, Chief. What a great race, man.
Yep. Went to the wire, and that seems to be a theme this season. Went down to the last lap. We had pretty much everything safety car. We didn't have any wet weathers, but I don't think we needed it today. Great to see a dry Spa race, and what a race it was. I had to say, Justin, I mean, credit to him. It looked like that incident with he had earlier in the race there a few laps ago. That would have cost him the win. He was off track, and could have easily have went into the wall, picked up some damage, but he just basically rejoined at speed. But I think there's going to be some heated words after this race. Some of the driving I saw there in that last lap, it looked like Danny and Meepo, it got a wee bit personal there.
Yeah, man, and of course people will be saying, oh, I can anticipate some people might say something about Justin's cutting across to stay on track. I mean, initially didn't think there's anything wrong with it, so we'll see. But look, we'll leave that till later on. I think Justin did a great job there today. To deal with the amount of pressure he was under, to keep intact with these guys, then the incident, and then to still hang on to get the race win. It was a great job from him, man. And we will be looking now, of course, to the Discord to see if there is any drama and any interviews as well. If we can, I have one request. If we could maybe keep them a bit short, because I would like to see the boxing.
Oh yes, there's boxing on. Yeah, we'll make our way through that. I do want to speak to Justin, hopefully Danico as well, maybe Meepo, but we'll try and keep it brief as we're looking at the standings here. Justin comes out top P1, and yeah, he started P2, got himself up to P1. McKender starting P4. Finishing P2, bit of Desi P7 to P3. Good contender for driver of the day, I'm thinking. Justin as well, it's hard to go against him. He had to fight back. He definitely, it wasn't an easy win for him today. Rumbo Strat as well, great finish. P4, started P5 on the grid. Danny Koo started P17, ends P5, and could have been even higher if it hadn't been for that incident with Meepo, who finished P6. As you say, Crawley voice P7, what a finish from him. Tier 3 driver representing, and yeah, we're going to head over to the interview booth now, so let's see who we've got in there. Hopefully a whole line of drivers waiting to speak to us. Yeah, Danico and Icewind. Right, I'm gonna bring Danico. We need to talk about that incident with Meepo, Danico. What a race for you today. I mean, you had the worst of starts, couldn't get into the session due to technical issues, and it looked like in the race as well there were some technical issues. Car was doing some weird stuff when we were viewing as spectator. But just tell us really about that last lap there. There was some contact with Meepo. How was it for you?
Not my fault. That's all I want to say.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you were lining up for a great finish when we've seen it in previous races, but yeah, I don't know, like how you felt about that incident with Meepo. You think that he's at fault then?
I want to say things, but I cannot say.
No, keep the cool, Dan. Keep the cool.
You're allowed to swear at least once as a driver in an interview, by the way.
Well, the drivers, am I not?
Yeah, but the thing is, it'd be more than once.
Yeah, maybe we'll.
Can I just say, so Dan, I never caught it. I just caught the tail end of Tino. It looked like Tino was getting shunted from the back, and I think I said, "Oh, there must have been a bump by Dan, or something's happened." I don't know what happened, so I had no idea. But
What with the Aston two game?
yeah, at the end, I don't know whether he braked really early or what, but
No, it was the second part of the chicane. They all of them just decided to back up, which
Oh.
is ridiculous.
okay.
Like I'm sorry, but it's a fucking piss take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were looking really good.
You don't
Dan.
have to back off in the final fucking chicane. Just go through it normally.
Yeah, you were looking really good there.
I'm sorry, but that is not on. It is not. It is not on backing up to create a gap when you're gonna get him on the DR straight, no matter fucking what. It's just go, man. You've got another turn before you can maybe get him. Like, it's just dumb. It is just dumb. And I'm gonna get a pen for that because I'm the car behind. But how the fuck am I meant to anticipate 2 cars ahead doing that? It's a piss take.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And it's not on. I'm sorry. If I just can't be arsed with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying next week. Yeah, it'll be fun for the others. Sorry, I've had enough.
That's all right. Dan was sure, but just be sure, man. If you think there is any issue, get your POVs in for the guys to check. I mean, if people are unnecessarily slowing down on a corner that is generally flat out or it's taking its speed, then I mean there is a shout out for saying that is actually maybe unsafe driving as well. We did see it in Tier 3, was it? Someone's going excessively slow and got themselves a penalty. So you may have a case here, man. So
Probably not. Probably not. But yeah. Just a fucking shit show.
Yeah,
Complete
frustrating race.
I'm-
I mean, it's
I'm
not.
sorry for all the swearing, but I've just had a fucking enough.
No, I love the raw emotion. I like it whenever people are just real, rather than being all like nice.
I'm gonna say it as well. I don't know what the fuck Meepo was doing. I've gone round the outside and he's gone for the fucking apex. And then on the exit, he's driving fucking into me like I'm at fault. What the fuck is he doing? I've had enough. I've honestly done. Fucking sort your fucking heads out. Seriously.
Okay, so next track is yeah, frustrating. Really. I mean, obviously not the start you wanted.
No, the problem is I always race as fair as I fucking can to get some BS off every single other driver early. I don't fucking accept it anymore. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, so next week's track is sorry, I'm just trying to inject some humor. Obviously, you're very frustrated, and the way to start a race, obviously you want the good mindset. You want to go into a race, relax. You had some technical issues. What was it? What was the issue? You just couldn't get into the session, or?
No, I was trying to do anything on my computer. It was just freezing and taking 10 years to do it. So
Yeah.
I first loaded it up, went into a practice, like just GP mode. It was just lagging, like I had a 15-second screen freeze in GP mode. So I'm like, right, I'll close the game. It took 10 years to close the game. So I then tried reloading it. It was then frozen on trying to load the game. So I've had to somehow close the game down, try to restart the computer, which then it was stuck on a red screen for about 5 minutes. Then I had to manually turn the switch on at the back for it to take another 5 minutes to load up. Then still not be working fully to try and get the game up, which then took about 2 minutes to load normally, longer than what it should do. And then I joined the session, and then on my first lap I had a 15-second screen freeze on the Kennel Straight. Like, man.
So
I
sorry,
feel like I pressed
did you
the entire time?
did you have technical issues in the race itself? Yeah.
No.
All right.
I
Yeah.
get to the
No, I was
get
just
to the
gonna,
race.
I was just going to say, like, we were watching as spectators, obviously, but it did look like there was weird movements on your car, so might be that might be from what you're saying, just all these technical issues. But good that it didn't actually affect your actual race. But definitely not how you want to start a session anyway. And I can understand the frustration, especially based on some of the argy-bargy moves I saw in the last few laps there. But I mean, it was looking like a classic Danico race. You start at the back for whatever reason, you have to make your way through the grid, and then at the end of the race, you're in contention for the race win. At the safety car, you used a lot of DRS to keep in with the guys ahead, and we're in pretty good spot for P1. So were you thinking it was on the table today, or is that why we're hearing your frustration is at an all-time high, should I say?
It's just frustrating because you try to have a nice, clean race, and then people just decide to not do that and just do whatever they can to. What's the word?
Jeopardize your race.
No, it's. I can't say the phrase without being one myself. Being a twit. Let's put it like that.
Twat. Oh, sorry. Twit is the
Yes.
more flat version of twat.
Yeah.
But normally we say.
I don't care anymore.
My cunt.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about the budget guy, for the Tories.
Oh yes.
Anyway,
Isn't that called Jeremy Hunt?
Oh, Jeremy, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
Next
Danny,
race.
great race for you today. So we were going to keep the interview short, but I mean, definitely was interesting to hear your reaction after the race. So not the way you wanted it to go today, but definitely, I mean, you got some points anyway. And then it's on to the next one, isn't it? But yeah, frustrating times out there for yourself. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. We'll let you go on and have an ice bath or whatever it is you need to do to cool down. Maybe some Rocket League, as Crawley Voice has suggested in chat.
Probably not.
Yeah, not for me either. I'm watching the boxing tonight.
Yeah, speaking of that, we need to get to that. So, Danny Co, thanks very much for the raw emotion in chat. And we will speak to you again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we apologize for the raw emotions, but that's what you get after a race sometimes. I mean, like, that's literally him just finished a race and venting his frustration. So, yeah, sometimes it takes you a while to cool down after a race and just, take it all in. And I think, from that, we're going to have a bit of a contrast because I'm going to bring in Justin, who had some frustrations of his own during that race, as I'm sure Justin's going to tell us in great detail about. But yeah, I mean, you had a pretty good quali. Tino obviously pipped you to the post there, but Tino getting that drive-through penalty took him out of the mix. Safety car as well, didn't come out at a bad time for yourself. Tell us about that incident with Tino. He had that drive-through penalty, so really he wasn't really fighting for position, but obviously he didn't want to go down without a fight. So yeah, what was your point of view on that incident?
I would have a completely different opinion and thought process behind that had I not won the race. Just getting that out there.
Yeah,
What I'm about to say is probably going to sound bad, but it could have been 20 times worse. I think anyone without a brain. I think even an unborn child can realize what Tino did was intentional. I think that's just blatant. I don't even care to say it anymore. It's happened way too many times where coincidentally he gets a drive through and he's burning everything, and as soon as he gets to me, he doesn't race cleanly side by side. He goes on the throttle, pushes me wide, forces me to beach, and then cut the corner. And also coincidentally, as he's entering the pits, he's like going 3 kilometers an hour before going in, costing me more time. I think his only intention was as soon as his race was over, he came over to fuck over mine. That's just it's happened last season in Imola. It's happened last season in Austria. It's happened this season in Spa, and I'm really pissed off about it because what's the point? Like, why am I even racing anymore if I just know if Tino's around me, he's not gonna race cleanly, and if McKenna or Meepo or any championship leader is around, he's gonna help them. I mean, he was playing DRS chicken on lap fucking 3. Who does that? Like, not a single soul does that. It's not the final lap. I'm venting all my frustration of Havatino off of the past few years, so sorry. But it's come to a point where why is he even racing, you know? Because if he's going to do that every time he's around me, I just don't see the benefit to him, the benefit to me, and of course the others that gain from this in the championship, because at the end of the day, they're like, oh, okay, I got more points because Tino pushed Justin wide, or because, McKenna could have won today because of that, and I'm glad he didn't, but it is what it is. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I noticed, Justin, whenever that moment did happen, that not only did it, well, screw you over initially, but whenever he did then pit, you were then you were out of DRS as well, zone, was it tractions, or the detection zone, so it kind of doubly screwed you over. Not only did it miss you out on, being in close contention with Jamak, but then it threw you out of the DRS as well, which, as we were touching on, it kind of then forced it forced your hand, whereby you had to deploy to catch up that DRS, and then it made it very, very tricky for you at the end. I mean, I suppose many people would question why one would fight so hard when you're going to server drive through anyway. I don't know. I guess we'll leave that to the others to decide. I just think that whenever I was watching you today, and after I seen that happening and this stuff, I just seen that you could almost tell in your driving that you were determined not to let that go this time. You were determined to capitalize as much as you can on it. And you did, man. You got the race win. Of course, there was the DRS game at the very end as well. Mac was desperate for you to pass because he kind of knew if you passed, then he would get you again. So once that happened, and the DRS happened, and you got him, as I was saying, it's pretty much done. Then he had nothing to fight with. So I think all things considered, I still think you did a great job today to deal with what you had to deal, and of course get that race win, which I'm sure many would think you maybe should have had a few more better results in previous races already. So it's nice. I suppose it's nice for you to get that luck switched back. I wouldn't say luck's on word, but that bad luck that you've been having recently, that's been gone, and you really put a statement down today that you can race and you can win if people leave you alone.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously beef between drivers. It's a natural thing, but to see it play out on track like that, it does raise some questions. And yeah, I can hear your frustrations with that. But I mean, you did the perfect thing in response. You won the race regardless, and let your actions on track kind of answer or respond to Tino's antics today. Worth maybe making a report to FIA if you do feel like it was over the line, and they can certainly have a look at that. But Justin, I mean, how does it feel like to come out, especially given all the background to that race, to come out top? So.
I mean, even without the incident, I'm just happy to finally have won a race and even been on the podium, because I don't even think I've been on the podium this season so far, at least from. Oh no, I have Spain, but yeah, to finally win after Baku. Don't want to talk about that. Silverstone, another incident that could have been very avoided. And today, I mean, incident aside with Tino, I think it was just a fun race in general, being super close and finally getting some luck on my side for once. I think had the safety car not come out with the softs versus mediums, it could have been interesting as well. Maybe it could have been a further incident. Don't know, don't care. But yeah, it's just happy finally to be happy on a Friday evening.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I mean, you're always in the mix, but had some bad luck this season so far. But maybe this is it. This is a change in the tide, and we're going to see Justin fighting for possibly the championship. I have to say, man, I always favor the underdog, and I don't think I'm not saying underdog is in like you're not capable, but you're more than capable. But for whatever reason, you've just I think you posted in chat one time about it. You said 7 times you've finished runner up in tier one. So yeah, I think I am going to support your bid for the title this season. So it may seem a far way off now, as heading into this race you were in.
I was 30 points behind.
Yeah, you're P4, 30 points behind. But yeah, you know it's a long season, 14 tracks this season. We're only in round 5, so yeah, I mean keep up the good work is all I can say, and do your talking on track as you did today. So GG, Justin, for that win.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're going to move on. So hopefully speak to you again soon, and we'll see you on track at Qatar, Justin, okay?
Appreciate it, guys.
Cheers.
Well,
Bit of a counseling session going on today. Everybody's like getting on the couch and venting their frustrations with drivers, the game, whatever it is. We're going to bring Iceland in as a final interviewee. Iceland joined the session kind of late. It looked like maybe he had some issues getting into the session. But once the race got underway, you got up to speed pretty quickly. You started on sauce. You did get a time penalty or two, I believe. Yeah, 6 seconds at the end there. So you started P18, finished P10. Yeah, just give us an overview of your race, including that issue you had in quali.
Yeah, I wasn't really gonna drive, but then I like last minute, if there was space, I figured, yeah, let's just give it a go. Loaded into the session, loaded my setup. The game instantly crashed after I loaded my setup, and I guess the game decided to retire me from the session. I got back, then yeah, sure, I didn't do a quali run. And then we loaded into the race session, and the game just kept me in spectator mode. I couldn't choose my strategy or change my tire pressures, which was extremely detrimental for this race, but yeah, and the game decided to put me on soft switch, which I would have avoided like plague if I had the choice to do that. But yeah, so just kind of took it easy at the start. Followed I think Eagle Ghost was there with me for that first stint, and then there was a bunch of different kind of crashes ahead of me, and then I just kind of was doing my own race alone most of that time, and did a really long stint on those softs, like 11 laps, 76% at the end. Then there was that safety car. I pitted for another set of mediums again, which I think was the better choice for at least comparing to softs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had those 6 second penalties, so it was kind of impossible to really fight for any good points. Last lap was really unfortunate. I honestly don't know what the guys ahead of me were doing. Like I had to pretty much stop at Stavelo to avoid hitting. Was it like Danny and Meepo or whoever were like sideways there at Stavelo on the final lap, and then I had to go like across the grass. And I had driven over a 3 second gap to the guy behind me who had a 3 second penalty, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna beat him. And then when I actually got going again after avoiding all those crashed cars, I saw the gap is like 0.5, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is this is not going well. Across the line, I figured I'm not gonna get a point at all, but I was 10th apparently, so yeah, P10. That's
P10.
yeah, right. I think that's the crux of it. Yeah. Couldn't really expect much more than that with just jumping in at the last minute, and then I didn't even get to do quali or anything because of the issues with the game. But yeah, this seems to be like a trend that I have some weird issues in qualifying in SLR. Like last week also.
Yeah, it seems there's at least 1 or 2 drivers always having issues, technical issues. Danico as well today was struggling to get into the session. But yeah. Iceland, I was going to say, so you started this race, the whole race default setup, is that right?
No, I had a setup, but I had like the qualifying tire pressures, which
okay.
is not great. I think my front tires were like 5 degrees off optimal temperature every time I came to the what's the corner, Lakeholm at the end of the Camel Straight. So that was not great, but honestly, it didn't really feel that different. So I don't really know what was the actual difference there, but yeah, unfortunately I couldn't change them because the game didn't let me. But yeah, it was not the default setup. It was my race setup.
Yeah. But some great driving from you today. I saw plenty of overtakes, so I'm sure you had some fun. Starting P18,
Yeah.
finishing P10, so the coveted P10 spot. You've become the new Ocean Chief. You'll be. Is that insulting? Is that an insult?
No, I think that's just the reality of what tier 1 is for me nowadays. So me and Copy are gonna struggle to get points in this in the future. I guess we are the old timers here. Yeah, of course those penalties kind of ruined anything for me. So but even without the penalties, I think I would have been like 8th or something. So it wouldn't have been that much better. Yeah.
Yeah. I looked at it 6 seconds off P8. You would have finished, but yeah, who knows? I mean, if you're able to get a good quali in and good setup for the race, who knows what could have happened? Next week, Qatar.
Yeah.
Will we see some Icewind action on track for Qatar?
Probably not, because I'm traveling next week, so I won't be home. So no.
Oh dear. Okay.
But Qatar is not one of my best tracks, to be honest. So I don't really mind missing that.
Yeah, a lot of drivers do like it, but it does seem to be like a very good track to hot lap. I personally, to race on, I found it a wee bit sketchy, going side by side with people. But I know Bob likes that track. Did you win there, Bob?
Where?
Qatar?
No, I was gonna win, but I think near the last few laps I kind of got. Well, I would say I got held up by a certain driver that's causing a bit of havoc in Tier 3 at the moment, and that let the heat just yeet past me, and then I just couldn't catch up.
That was kind of the I'm old enough to be allowed these small what should I say, bites at the lower tier guys, but just look at how I overtook Crowley Voice on the I think like the penultimate lap or whatever. You can see how you can leave space and drive side by side through Lakeholm, for example, and still make the overtake cleanly without any kind of contact. So yeah, I just sort of it's possible.
We saw some questionable driving today, but like you say, we did see instances of very good driving. And yeah, like side by side through if it is called Lakeholm, that's tricky, but you can do it, and you showed that is possible. Even in Rouge, it's possible side by side, but you do have to have some a lot of trust in the opposing driver.
And then I think one of you has to like yield a little bit there, but we'll see. What is after Qatar?
Good
I
question.
probably will drive then.
Sure. It is Singapore, then Brazil.
Oh my god. Well that's not good, but yeah, maybe I'll drive anyway.
Okay, well, we appreciate the time you have dedicated to us and in the commentator's booth. We will hopefully see you again soon, not too far away. We're going to move on because we've got some boxing to get to, so we'll catch you later, Iceman.
Right, thanks guys.
So Bob, last thing with the ticker off is driver of the day. A number of contenders today. We've got Justin, obviously pulls off the win in the last lap of the race. After all those issues he had during the race. Actually, most of the race was looking pretty good for him, but yeah, after that incident, he had a lot of work to do, and he, as I said before, did his talking on the track, takes that race win. McKenna P2 as well, but I think Desi and Justin for me are the standout drivers. Desi getting himself up to P3 after starting P7 on the grid, but Justin with that fight back. It's hard to split the two guys for driver of the day, so I'm gonna let you make that final call, Bob.
Well, I was also going to throw in the mix Danny if he wasn't involved in that incident. You see,
Yeah.
Dan and Man would have been up there, but we don't know what's going to happen with that. So yeah, I mean, the other two guys I was going to look at would have been a Desi and Justin. I was watching some of the racing of the Desi. They did do a good job, but he was just playing it cool, and I seen that he was just capitalizing on everyone else's mistakes. Which again, I commend. I mean, I've done it myself. It keeps a cool head. The Desi, he done a great job. I'm kind of leaning towards Justin because he had to work hard for that today. I mean, he was up against the mighty Tino, and he had a fight, of course, to fight off Meepo, and then, of course, McKender as well. And he had, navigate an awful lot of scenarios to get that P1.
And one other driver as well, I'm just looking at the standings here. Crawley Voice P7, started P13, is a tier 3 driver, but finished only 6.6 off the lead after that safety car restart. That, I mean, if he doesn't get it, definitely honourable mention for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, who to pick. I mean, I was kind of following the action mostly at the front because that's where the real heat was. So, the one guy I did see a lot today was Justin, and I did see what he had to go through, and he still pulled it off and got the race win. I'm leaning kind of towards him.
Yeah, I think for the reasons you mentioned, yeah, we'll go with that there. I mean, he definitely had to pull his finger out, for want of a better phrase.
He didn't just drift off to the lead and that was it. He had a really proper fight for that.
So. Yeah, and given the background as well with the beef with Tino and how that all played out, he definitely. I mean, it looked like he was out of it. He was out of DRS range, but used all his ERS up, took a risk, and paid off. So I think, yeah, Justin. I know Eagle Ghost in chat is saying Crawley definitely driver of the day. Any other day, we would have given it to him, I think. But Justin, I mean, once you watch that race back, you'll see what we're talking about. He pulled it out of the hat today and gets his first win of the season, and I think it's not going to be the last, as we are heading into Qatar next week, Singapore after that. Then we're at the halfway point in the race, and we've got a really good lineup of tracks for the second half of the season. But Bob, that's it for now. I know we've got other business to attend to, so we will get to that. But before we sign off, Tier 3, 2 and 1 back again next week. Qatar at the usual times, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And I know me and Bob will be back for Tier 1 comms. As Crawley Voice says, that's racist because I'm using Racing Line. I guess, yeah, I think he just condemned himself. He's definitely not getting driver of the day anytime soon.
Well, we might be back. Well, we will certainly be back for Tier 1, but you might even see us in Qatar and Singapore.
Ooh.
Two of my favourite tracks.
I feel like I say this every week now, and I'm like, I never show up. But maybe this is the one, maybe. But yeah, Bob, it's been a pleasure once again. We're going to wrap this up, and we will bid you farewell. Hit that like button if you haven't done already, and subscribe if you haven't previously, and we will see you again next week. Thanks, guys.